This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
I think we have a very unified Republican Party. After all, we have the presidency, we have the House, we have the Senate, and we're getting along very well.
President Trump says there is unity among Republicans, but this week the Republican heads of the intelligence committees are rejecting his unsubstantiated claim President Obama wiretapped him. This comes as more Republicans are becoming skeptical of the plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. And those issues are only the tip of the iceberg. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on the week at the White House coming up, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. Law enforcement and prosecutors from around the state, including from the Suncoast, are blasting the Orlando state's attorney who chose not to pursue the death penalty against a man charged with killing a police officer. Aramis Ayala told reporters Tuesday her office would not seek the death penalty for Markeith Lloyd. Lloyd is accused of shooting and killing his ex-girlfriend and Orlando police officer. Another deputy, Norm Lewis, who was a former Port Charlotte High School graduate, was also killed while chasing Lloyd. Law enforcement argues Ayala's decision sets a bad message, and prosecutors from across the state are condemning the decision as well, including the state's attorney from the Suncoast.
In those appropriate circumstances in which the death penalty and the ultimate sanction against someone for committing a atrocious or heinous crime in our community, we will seek the death penalty.
Governor Rick Scott has ordered the state's attorney's office in Lake County to take over the prosecution in the case from Ayala. I'll follow up now on the 15-year-old Palmetto boy who was hit and killed by a driver while walking to school. The Manatee County School District says Macarius Kelly had to cross 5 lanes on his way to Palmetto High School. Busing is only required for students who live 2 miles or more from the school. Kelly lived on 0.7 miles from his school.
It's hard to make exceptions because if you do that, where are you going to start drawing the line?
I don't think that's fair, you know what I mean? 2 miles, I'm talking about 2 miles in, 2 miles back. That's a lot, you know what I mean? Especially the time no change, it's still dark, so the kids taking a chance won't cross a busy highway.
Under the state law, there is an exception for busing students who have hazardous walking conditions. However, the rule only applies to elementary school students. Congressman Vern Buchanan voted for the GOP plan to replace Obamacare, but now, after the Congressional Budget Office declared nearly 24 million Americans could lose coverage, he is asking for changes. According to the Herald Tribune, Buchanan says he still supports repealing the Affordable Health Care Act, but after seeing the CBO score, he is joining the ranks of other concerned Republican lawmakers. You can hear more from Buchanan in person about the matter. He will hold a town hall at the Van Wezel in Sarasota tomorrow morning. It begins at 11 a.m. The hall can accommodate more than 1,700 people, but seating will become first come, first serve. There is a lot going on in Washington these days, and this week some of Sarasota's leaders were there looking after the city's interests. City Manager Tom Barwin and Mayor Willie Shaw attended a meeting of the National League of Cities. They're concerned about how the new administration's positions on issues ranging from health care to community grants will affect the Suncoast. Barwin says if federal funding declines under the Trump administration, it could be a major blow to our low-income neighborhoods.
It's a very critical and important funding for us here in the city and the county of Sarasota County. These programs fund the revitalization of our low-income neighborhoods in areas of the community. They help with infrastructure projects in those areas.
Commissioners will attend a similar meeting on the state level next week in Tallahassee. The Sarasota Police Department is welcoming 6 new officers today. Today, Chief Bernadette DePino held a swearing-in and promotional ceremony of the new officers. 3 are men, the other 3 are women, and we wish them all the best of luck. Now to Venice, where event managers are clashing with city leaders. The Venice Farmers Market draws thousands of people to the island every Saturday. However, other events are having difficulty getting permits because of the weekly market. City leaders say they want to be fairer about who gets to use the downtown corridor. The city manager says relocating the farmers market to Tampa Avenue could be a solution.
It provides the same linear space that she occupies now in Tampa. Actually, it provides, I think, about 40 feet more of linear space.
A survey of residents and businesses conducted by the city shows nearly 90% of locals don't want the city to adjust events in downtown Venice. Now you can get from Bradenton Beach to Longboat Key and avoid all the traffic. The Gulf Island Water Shuttle is making its maiden voyage today. The ship departs from the Bradenton Beach City Pier and makes stops at the Mar Vista and Whitney Beach Plaza on Longboat Key. Shuttles will run from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, and one-way tickets cost $10. Paradise Boat Tours is also working to launch a water shuttle in Sarasota. Now let's get a check on our weather from Wendy Ross. Wendy.
Alan, wasn't it the most beautiful day today? And if you could be on that shuttle, oh, you are one of the fortunate few. We managed to get up to a high of 72 degrees today. We had a chilly start to the morning. Our readings were in the low 40s, but we had nothing but clear skies around the area. We managed to warm up into the 70s, as you just saw, all around the state. So it has been a very beautiful day today, with our temperatures slightly cooler in parts of Manatee County, closer to the water, and then as far as you went eastward, temperatures warmed up just a little bit. Right now we've got nothing but dry air sitting on top of us, and that's going to provide for a beautiful starry night tonight. So we're going to continue with the clear skies, the beautiful conditions. We have very low humidity and also low dew points, and that's helping to create this beautiful condition for us right now. So we are looking at fair skies at this hour, and we are not expecting to see any rain for the overnight time period or into tomorrow. We do have a cold front that's moving down the state. We'll talk about when that's going to get here and what it's going to do for us. That's all coming up in just a little bit, Alan.
Thanks a lot, Wendy. And still to come, Merkel meets Trump. The leaders of Germany is at the White House today. They discuss NATO, refugees, and wiretapping. We'll have the details of their meeting and the latest from the Trump administration when we return.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
It's the season of savings right now during the spring clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Come shop the Suncoast's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers, or stop by today and drive away in a 2017 Jeep Cherokee for just $18,999. And for a limited time, get America's best value, a new Dodge Journey for as little as $16,599. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now, 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who has taken Xarelto or Pradaxa. If you or a loved one took the blood thinner medication Xarelto or Pradaxa and was then hospitalized for internal bleeding, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to serious, even fatal internal bleeding. If you suffered a stroke, heart attack, or serious internal bleeding, or if a loved one died after taking Xarelto or Pradaxa, call us now. Our network of attorneys have years of experience fighting the big pharmaceutical companies and is ready to fight for you. Potential claims are being reviewed for users of Xarelto or Pradaxa who have suffered severe bleeding or hemorrhaging, stroke, or even death. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone.
Please call 800-928-6604. That is 800-928-6604.
President Trump is touting the GOP healthcare plan and standing by his unsubstantiated wiretapping claims, all while welcoming the German chancellor to the White House for the first time. ABC's Stephanie Ramos reports from Washington.
President Trump, in one of his more consequential meetings with a foreign leader, welcomes German Chancellor Angela Merkel to the White House.
How did your talks go, Mr. President? Very good.
But the relationship hasn't always been so cordial. Trump has been very critical of Merkel in the past, bashing her on the trail, saying her refugee program was ruining Germany. Some of those differences may have shown through during this photo op. The body language and looks on their faces are stark. You can hear Merkel ask, "Do you want to have a handshake?" To which Trump either ignores her or doesn't hear her.
It's much, much better to talk to one another and not about one another.
But U.S.-German relations wasn't the only focus of their joint press conference. Even German reporters were more interested in the president's unsubstantiated allegations that President Obama had wiretapped Trump Tower.
Things, after all, in the end cannot be proven.
But Trump ignored the wiretapping part of her question.
Wiretapping on the Trump Tower.
This German reporter getting a response. The president first referring to Merkel's cell phone being wiretapped by the Obama administration.
At least we have something in common, perhaps.
Trump then defended White House spokesman Sean Spicer, who a day before read off an allegation from a media report that British spies had been ordered to wiretap Trump.
We said nothing. All we did was quote a certain very talented legal mind who was the one responsible for saying that on television. I didn't make an opinion on it.
We now know that the Department of Justice complied with the request from the committees investigating Trump's wiretap claims. It's just not clear exactly what's in that DOJ letter sent to Capitol Hill. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
Wiretapping wasn't the only item on President Trump's agenda this week. He is also taking shots at federal judges over his new travel ban and unveiling deep cuts to domestic programs in his budget. Our experts are standing by for analysis of the week. When we return, we will take it to the trapezoid.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular received a J.D. Power Award for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-297-5313. Go to consumercellular.com or visit a Target or Sears store today.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-658-3433. 800-658-3433.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I need that stuff for squeaky hinges. I think it's called 10W40.
Ace is the place with the stuff for squeaking hinges. That's called WD-40, not 10W40, which is motor oil that we also sell.
Right.
Right now, buy 2, get 1 free on all gallons of interior and exterior paint. March 8th to 20th only. 6 convenient Sarasota locations and now open in Bradenton, Northport, and soon Osprey.
Welcome back. Surreal or absurd, or making America great again every single day? How would you describe President Trump's week? Let's see. The chairman of the Senate and House Intelligence Committees, the Speaker of the House, all say there is nothing to back up President Trump's unsubstantiated claim President Obama wiretapped him. All Republicans. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer is forced to apologize to British intelligence for suggesting it bugged Trump on Obama's behalf, the British calling the idea utterly ridiculous. Republicans have had 7 years to come up with a plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. They unveiled it this week, and it is already in serious condition. The diagnosis? Too many Republicans won't vote for it. Our own Vern Buchanan now wants changes. And oh, by the way, Trump's new and improved travel ban to replace the one blocked by the federal courts was issued this week, and once again, it has been blocked by the federal courts. Joining us now to discuss how this is all playing on the Suncoast is Christian Ziegler, the Republican State Committeeman from Sarasota County, former State Representative Keith Fitzgerald. He is a professor of political science at New College, and Steve Sabato, ABC7's Director of Community Engagement. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Christian, good week?
Great week. Every week that Donald Trump's president, it's a great week in our country.
I'm curious what your reaction is to now you have the, as we said in the lead-in, the chairs, the Republican chairs of both the Senate and House Intelligence Committee say that they have seen no evidence. The Justice Department just sent over documentation to Congress. What we're understanding is there is also no evidence. At what point do good, loyal Trump supporters like yourself say the president either made a mistake or acknowledged that he lied?
Well, my understanding is they did say they have not seen any evidence yet. And then reporters followed up and said, well, will you rule out that it happened, right? And they said, no, we're not prepared to do that because they haven't looked at all the evidence that's out there yet.
I believe Devin Nunes, who said that, basically said there could have been some U.S. citizen that may have been picked up by the intelligence community, specifically Michael Flynn, who was recorded on the Russian surveillance of the ambassador. But they're not saying what the White House says he's saying.
Not yet, but again, they haven't looked at all of the evidence, is what they said when the media pressed them on it. So all I can do is take the president at his word. He said that this possibly occurred, and then he also said that this is as of, I think, yesterday or the day before, that he'll be releasing more information in the coming future. So I'm waiting. None of us at this table that I know of, unless someone has an extremely interesting second job, has any secret clearance. So we don't even have access to it. So it's hard to criticize.
I want to throw it open to the rest of you, but I do want to use this quote from Charles Krauthammer, who is one of the most preeminent conservative pundits in the country, who said, there is not a person in Washington who thinks that there actually was a wiretap, that this is true. It makes you question the credibility of the president on anything. Keith?
Well, I think Krauthammer has it right. Christian said that you have to trust the president, or you trust the president. The president has proven himself to be completely untrustworthy. He doesn't seem to value the truth. And that is, he clearly just made this up. There is no evidence. And I think Christian would agree if I said he was a wife beater, and then he said, you have no evidence for that. And I said, well, I don't have any evidence yet, that we would see that as a fundamental injustice and a morally debased thing to do. We just don't do things like that in a commonly decent society. But this weakens the United States because we rely on the president to be trustworthy. He might ask us to go to war. He might ask us to pull together in a crisis. We cannot believe anything that comes out of his mouth because he simply makes things up. And that's disastrous, not for his poll ratings, I don't care about that. It's disastrous for the people of the United States.
I'm going to let you respond to that, but first, Steve, I want to ask you this, because you and I have talked before the program, and you believe that Trump's tweets on this are a distraction from other things.
Well, and I think it's unfortunate that so much time is spent debating this. It's been, what, 2 weeks now, and it seems to have consumed the headlines. It's consumed the American public, and there are a lot of other things out there that we should be talking about right now. So, you know, I wonder at times, is this a strategy just a tactic by the White House to deflect attention from other things, or does the president just have an obsession with tweeting, and we're going to just have to get used to the fact that he may do things like this and not take it as seriously as we do.
But that you make the essential point there, because there are a lot of other things that we need to be talking about, and we will, because we are now an hour-long broadcast. But Keith raised the point that, let's say the president tweeted out that Iran is violating the nuclear deal, or that looks like we're going to have to take military action against North Korea. Christian, how do we believe what he says if he is not telling the truth about the wiretapping?
Again, we're having this conversation about Trump's tweets, and I actually agree with what was just said. You look at the tweets go out, the media, you guys are so hyper-focused on it, that's all you want to talk about. And meanwhile, what Donald Trump's doing is he's actually carrying out issues and policy that the American public cares about.
Let me just stop you there, because remember, the president accused the last president of a serious felony. What the president of the United States says matters.
But Alan, we have a stylistic change here from the previous administration to where we are now. And I think that the media is contributing to this by constantly covering only politics in Washington. It is unbelievable to me as a journalist to watch, and I watch all of the cable network newscasts, the amount of coverage that is dedicated to Washington, D.C. and the president is unprecedented. It's as though there are no other stories, and that's contributing to this hysteria that we're in right now.
We have less than a minute left, but Keith, I want to give you the last word. Does Steve have a point?
I certainly think this is a distraction. I think what's in the budget is much more important in the long run. However, a basic respect for the truth is not a style change. It's a dramatic change in substance, and it can be a serious problem for this country going forward.
We're moving on. After this break, we're just getting started. We'll pick up the discussion right after a check on the weather, so stay with us.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner. After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
Luxury for less at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKZ Sports Utility for $249 per month or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
We'll have more on the week in Washington coming up, but right now let's get a check on our weather from the weekend from Wendy Ross. Wendy.
And Alan, we're going to take a look outside. Look how gorgeous this is. Doesn't that look like a picture postcard? And just think, we are just days away from the official start of spring, but we already got a jump start on it. So we've seen nothing but beautiful skies throughout the day today, clear, clear skies. And as you can see, that's continuing at this hour. We do have a cold front, though. It is going to be making its way down the state over the weekend. The good news is this frontal system is going to be slow to come on through, that we don't have to worry about it bringing any wet weather to our area and ruining a thing. So it's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. As the weekend wears on, you can see this front sliding all the way down the state. It breaks apart, so it's not going to bring about any showers, and it's going to continue to clear us out over the next 24 to 48 hour period. So it's going to be an absolutely spectacular weekend. Here's where the cold front is right now, and it's going to continue to push on down throughout the southeastern part of the country. As it comes on through our area, we'll see some showers located offshore, but our air is so dry that these showers are not going to have much of a chance to hang around. So we're going to call for a mild weekend ahead, and that means our temperatures are going to be somewhere between the low to mid 70s all weekend long, and it is going to be a great weekend to get to the beach. The Sarasota State Fair opened today, so you'll be able to enjoy that all weekend long as well. This is what it's going to look like out at the beach. We've got those winds coming in out of the northeast, 5 to 10 knots, seas 1 to 2 feet, and there will be a moderate chop out on the bay and inland waters. And keep in mind, when you do go to the beach, that sun is so strong and powerful, you do need your sunblock. We're going to get up to a high about 76 degrees tomorrow. The Gulf water temperature 71 after all those cool nights that we've seen. Tonight's not going to be an exception. It's still going to be clear, but it will be chilly. Temperatures are going to drop down into the 50s. And then tomorrow we get that cool start to the day, 75 degrees. It's going to be sunny and mild. And this is what it's looking like over the weekend. Take a look at this. Now, the first day of spring is on Monday, but we are going to see Saturday and Sunday temperature highs in the mid 70s, 73 degrees. Once that cold front comes all the way through, that's going to drop the temperature. But look at this. We warm all the way up for the rest of the week, and we're going to see nothing but sunshine all week long. So get out there, enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a great one. We're going to be back right afterwards, and we'll go on with the panel with Alan and his discussion.
Car experts and customers agree there's a whole lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru was named the 2016 Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted, and Best Performance Brand by Kelley Blue Book. And ALG named Subaru its top mainstream brand for residual value for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month or get 0% financing during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Join us for Sarasota Opera's 2017 Winter Festival, opening February 11th. Featuring Puccini's most famous opera, Madame Butterfly, Rossini's delightful comedy, The Italian Girl in Algiers, Poulenc's heartbreaking Dialogues of the Carmelites, and the medieval thriller, The Love of Three Kings by Italo Montemezzi. Tickets are on sale now. Call 941-328-1300 or visit sarasotaopera.org.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing President Trump's 8th week in office. Our guests tonight are Republican State Committee man Christian Ziegler, New College professor of political science Keith Fitzgerald, and ABC7's Director of Community Engagement Steve Sabato. Want to get to a couple of areas that were in the news this week, including President Trump's first budget. And Christian, here's what I don't get. Obviously, there's a lot more money for defense and homeland security and immigration, but the cuts to some of these programs, including Meals on Wheels, I just don't get it. I don't get when the president's budget director says that Meals on Wheels, which provides food and aid to needy seniors, is just one of those programs that is not showing any results. There are a lot of people who are watching this right now who are helped greatly by Meals on Wheels.
Alan, and I agree, but I don't know when you printed that article out, but the Washington Post recently came out. I was reading it just earlier today, and they said that that is not true, that it was not true, that that's not what he was accredited for saying.
I watched the news conference today.
I understand, but the way that Meals on Wheels is funded, he was actually going after community development block grants. He was not, that quote there was not him saying that Meals on Wheels did not have results. He was referring to community block grants. And the Washington Post, after they did that article, they came out and said that it is not true.
Is that fair?
I didn't read that report, but I would say if they're doing away with community development block grants, that is a significant blow to cities like Sarasota, which used a community development block grant over the last 20 years to redevelop.
And I don't think they're getting rid of it. They're just taking a look at it because there are plenty of reports out there about wasted money and the money's not being used efficiently, and they're just taking a look.
Well, they put out a budget. A budget is not a look. A budget is a proposed cut. And you know, this budget is incredible in some of the things it does. So people have focused on that, but a lot of other
bigger
stuff.
picture here. There was a story in the Boston Globe today that the Trump budget hits his base more than any other segment of the population. The Globe saying Trump also wants to kill the low-income home energy assistance program, which helps people, including seniors on fixed incomes and the working poor, to pay their heating bills. It is particularly prized resource in New England and also rural America. So what's the strategy here if the people who got Donald Trump to the White House are going to be adversely or primarily affected by this budget?
Well, I would say that unlike the Democratic Party, where they will throw out government money, government programs to secure votes, what he's doing is he's reining in spending for programs that he doesn't believe are delivering ROI, and he's taking a look at the entire budget. There are a lot of cuts in there, but guess what? Our country, we can't afford the stuff that we're doing. We cannot afford these programs, and if the left wants to be freaking out over this budget, what's going to happen in 10, 20, 30 years when we can't afford these programs? What's going to happen then? And I would say that the media, the American public needs to take a step back and say shame on the Democratic Party for instituting all of these programs and trying to grow government to record levels and making people dependent on government, because when you start pulling those programs back, it does start to scare individuals that are relying on them.
You know, Steve, you have been the news director and general manager all over this country, from the Northeast to the Midwest to the South. You know who is out there who is watching the news, and they hear stories like this about the budget. You know, how do you think this is going to play?
Well, I think first of all, it's playing very well with the Republican core, somewhere north of 80%. They're very happy with what the president's doing, and he came into office promising to reduce the size of government and the legacy programs that over the last 50 years have grown. So I think it's playing very well with his core audience. That said, I think it also has something to do with the country's perception of what it means to be American, and do we have social programs? Do we have a social conscience and invest in things that don't have an ROI? There is no positive ROI to a national health program. You're not going to somehow find a profitable national health plan, but you may say that we're a country that wants to take care of the folks who don't have the wherewithal to take care of themselves. So I think we're seeing a fundamental shift in a fight or a conflict between a government that has grown increasingly large, that in a deficit that we can't afford, and at the same time a social conscience for people who are less well off than others.
You opened the door to talking about the Republican health care bill, and here's the interesting part of it. Obviously, the president's having great difficulty with the most conservative members of the House, the Freedom Caucus, who want nothing to do with any provision of Obamacare, including all the issues that that people do like about it. But you do also have moderate Republicans who are saying that they're not going to vote for it under the current bill. And Keith, you are a professor of political science, and of course you remember 8 years ago when Obama was trying to get the Health Care Act passed. It was not given that it would pass at any point until it did. So is it safe to say that this bill is in trouble now, or could, just like 8 years ago, something get passed?
Well, first I have to go back for a second because, in all due respect, I disagree with almost everything you said because, first of all, there is a gigantic ROI on health care. If you do it right, you can see it as an investment in the workforce and the people, and it can pay off in very important ways. This bill.
If that's true, then why don't the insurance companies want to invest in it? There isn't an insurance company on the planet that wants to put money into a program where they're forced to insure people that they know are going to file huge claims and not take care of themselves.
I'm talking about the United States of America, and for the United States of America, there is a return on investment in doing health care correctly. That's a very different thing, that's a very different thing from the profit that may be gained by individual firms in a specific part of the health care insurance market. Two different things. And second of all, this budget doesn't touch, it's relatively revenue neutral, so it doesn't reduce the size of government. It shifts money out of the State Department and into the Defense Department. That is a different strategy, and I think a tragically mistaken one. However, it does not overall affect the size of government. It just sort of shifts where the priorities are.
I know you want to jump in on that point, Christian, but let me add to that what General Mattis said when he was still a general and they were talking about cuts to the State Department. He said, if you cut money from the State Department, you better buy me more bullets.
Okay, and so you're focusing on one comment back when he was a general. It's totally different than when you start running government. You start looking at the way government is and actually paying the bills instead of carrying it out. We have a depleted military. You look at the equipment they're using, you look at the tanks they're using, you look at the planes they're using. America's military is depleted. They were cutting, soldiers. They need to increase soldiers. We need to look at our military, and it's a fundamental difference, as Keith mentioned. And the president campaigned on a strong military, a strong country, and that's what he's executing right now.
Well, first of all, I never said anything about cutting the military. That is not the Democratic position. In fact, the military is depleted, and that has to do with the way the sequester was carried out. This actually puts money into military programs that many military people themselves don't want.
We're over on time, but I do want to get back to health care for just 1 second, because Christian, when you're looking at this, and you're hearing Senate Republicans saying, you guys better change things in the House because this bill is not going to pass the Senate. Mm-hmm. And then you hear the Freedom Caucus who want nothing to do with this. Are you concerned right now, or what do you think the fix is if you have conservatives who say it's too rich and moderates saying that it's not rich enough?
Yeah, it's the early stage of making sausage, right? So Republicans control the Senate, they control the House, they control the presidency. They're trying to tackle health care, which admittedly is a difficult thing to do. You have the Democratic Party that instituted this plan that really no one wanted. They jammed it down our throat quickly, and it put a lot of people on the government rolls that are dependent on it, and now we're trying to strip it away, and it's starting to freak the left out. But it's early on in the process. I know, like the Republican Study Committee, all the conservative members went to the White House yesterday. They talked about some fixes. Negotiations are still occurring, so it's early.
It was the president was the only one who did not think it was such a complicated process as his discovery.
Well, he's a deal maker. He's talking in general. He can get deals done.
All right. Let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job. I am Goodwill, yeah.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 888-747-5291, to see if you qualify for a cash award, 888-747-5291.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need
the Debt Ninja. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, you could be facing wage garnishments, levies, liens, property seizure, cancellation of business license, closure of business. The Debt Ninja fights your IRS debt. That's why you need the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja has found the best companies in the country who are on your side to fight debt. Want to learn if you qualify for the IRS Financial Hardship Program? Stop the IRS from garnishing your wages. Even if your bank account has been seized, if you have undeclared taxes, if you have existing IRS debt, it's not too late to call, so grab your phone now. Call the Debt Ninja at 800-945-0083. That's 800-945-0083. Settle your IRS debt to get the power of the Debt Ninja. Dial this number now, 800-945-0083.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Welcome back. Will President Trump continue to stand by his unsubstantiated wiretapping claim? How much of his budget will the Republican Congress agree to? And will we see a third version of his travel ban? Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Christian, I got to ask you, I mean, how does the president get out of this issue with the wiretapping? Because, you know, you've had the FBI director is going to testify on Monday, and you could assume he is going to say what everybody else has been saying. There is no evidence.
Well, that's an assumption. Again, you use the word assume.
He's already told the Justice Department.
I'm not in the assumptive business. There's other agencies that could have done it, not just the FBI. One thing that I think is somewhat humorous is that the media and the left, they want to hold the president accountable for tweets and stuff he says, but they don't even hold their own accountable. You look like Maddow. She had that total meltdown this week where she said 25%.
I mean, how do you get out of that?
I understand, but again, he's already said we're going to look at it later. I don't know why we're revisiting this. We already talked about it earlier in the show, but he said he's going to release additional information in the future. I have to take him at the word. I don't have a top secret clearance. I don't work in the intelligence community. I have no idea what didn't happen. I just have to take him for his word, and that's what I'm going to do.
Keith?
Well, there's an old political science definition of politics as the authoritative allocation of values. And as difficult as it is for people to follow budget discussions, I think that's what we really should be focusing on, because that's where you tell people what you think is important and what you don't. Look, if you think about what historians will write about the United States in 100 years, 200 years, one of the amazing accomplishments we've had is we've been able to pack more people into urban areas and not only maintain but improve the quality of our air and water at an incredibly low price. The president's budget slashes our capacity to carry out that task. That's disastrous.
But Steve, you've been a news director. Put yourself in the place of a network news executive right now, because you have all this stuff about the wiretapping just rolling along, a new development every day. And how do you balance the reporting of that, which is a real news story, versus the budget, which is going to have a long-term interest on people's lives, and the health care bill?
I think that news organizations got themselves into the habit of covering nothing but politics during the campaign, and they have not been able to wean themselves off of it. And one reason is ratings, and the other reason is just laziness and hyperbole and theater of the absurd. is going on full steam.
We'll have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about last night's topic, undocumented immigrants on the Suncoast. We spoke to a couple who illegally immigrated from Mexico nearly 20 years ago. They say they are proud to call the Suncoast home, but fear being deported by the Trump administration. We asked what you think about our local undocumented residents. Patricia Hug writes, this family is not one we should be deporting. Get rid of the criminals and the dangerous elements of other nationalities. Catherine Da Vinci writes, my family came through Ellis Island and worked their butts off. No one gave them anything. They came here legally and had to know someone. I don't feel sorry because they came into this country illegally. And Sean White writes, these poor souls are risking everything to be poor in the U.S. That has to tell you something about how bad it is where they were. How can you all have so little compassion for other humans who are suffering so much? You should be ashamed of yourselves. Well, let us know what you think about President Trump's first 2 months in office by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And FYI, want to watch past roundtable discussions? They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to our guests for being here tonight. Christian Ziegler is State Committee Man for the Republican Party of Sarasota. Keith Fitzgerald is a former Democratic State Representative and Professor of Political Science at New College. And Steve Sabato is ABC7's Director of Community Engagement. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather, plus keeping our kids safe. Legislation is being filed to increase the penalties for having weapons near an elementary school, but it's facing a major roadblock. We'll explain in our primetime headlines.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular received a J.D. Power Award for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-297-5313. Go to consumercellular.com or visit a Target or Sears store today.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
Since 2014, Addiction Hope and Helpline has answered calls for recovery and treatment 24/7, 365 days a year. If you're depressed, drinking, using drugs, or taking pills, call now and talk to someone who cares.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Most insurance covers substance abuse. You can get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call 800-622-1941. 800-622-1941.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our weather from Wendy Ross. Wendy.
Well, as you know, we started off the day with just a couple of clouds out there, and then as the day wore on, it was an absolutely beautiful day. And this is what it looks like. Even at this hour, things are looking awfully good. So we're going to continue with that. We did have a high today of 72 degrees. Our overnight low was 42. And for tonight, we're going to be about 10 degrees warmer than we were last night. So normally we're at 57 and 76 degrees, and these will be more along the lines of the temperatures we're going to see for this upcoming weekend. So it's going to be an absolutely stellar weekend. This is what it looked like around the state today. We saw temperatures in the 60s and low 70s over the northern sections of the state. Down to the south of us, Fort Myers and Naples, 78 degrees. But right here across our counties, we looked at temperatures in the 60s and 70s And as you moved out east, it got a little bit warmer. Very dry air sitting on top of us. So even though we have a cold front that's going to be moving down the state over the weekend, it is not going to provide rain for us. You can see some of those clouds moving off to the east, and that right now we're looking at nothing but clear skies across the region. And over the weekend, we've got a little bit of cloud cover that will be affecting the east coast of Florida. Those clouds just don't hold together well enough to come over to the west. But here's that cold front racing down the state, and it's just not going to provide rain because of the fact that it's so dry in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So we've got this cold front. It's going to move on down across the state. We may see a couple of showers located out in the Gulf of Mexico, but keep in mind they're just not going to hold together that well. So for this weekend, we can expect to see a mild weekend ahead. That means temperatures that will be in the low to mid 70s, mild temperatures for us, and it's going to be a great beach weekend. We also have the Sarasota Fair, and it'll be a great weekend to get there as well. So if you're heading out to the beach, winds will be out of the northeast at 5 to 10 knots, seas 1 to 2 feet with a moderate chop out on the bay and inland waters. Now, keep in mind, 76 degrees, you can burn with this kind of sun, so keep that in mind and make sure you take along plenty of sunscreen when you head out to the water. We're looking at a 71-degree reading as far as the Gulf temperature is concerned. Now tonight, warmer than last night, but it's still going to be chilly. Clear skies, 52 degrees for the overnight low. So that chilly start to the morning for tomorrow, 75 degrees and mild. And this is what it looks like over the weekend. Spring officially starts on Monday, but we get a head start right now.
Are you paying too much for your cable or satellite TV? The U.S. government passed a bill mandating free over-the-air digital transmission of all broadcast network television channels. That means with the new TV Freeway digital antenna, you can get free HD programming from your favorite broadcast networks 24/7 without a bill. You just plug it into the back of your TV and start watching all of your favorite broadcast programs for free. There are no contracts to sign, no hidden fees, and no monthly fees. Just free HD broadcast TV. Take it with you anywhere. Call or go online now to get your TV Freeway stick for the incredibly low price of only $14.99. But wait, call or click now and you can get a second TV Freeway stick for a second TV. Just pay a separate fee, but you have to order right now.
Call 1-800-809-5196 to get your TV Freeway. Call now or go to tvfreeway.com. So call 1-800-809-5196. This offer's not in any store. Call now.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Now for your primetime headlines, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is in South Korea today, where he had unusually strong words for the government of North Korea. ABC's Jo-hee Cho reports from Seoul.
Upon arrival on the second leg of his Asia trip, the Secretary of State Rex Tillerson went straight to the world's most heavily armed border between North and South Korea. posing with U.S. troops, while a North Korean soldier took pictures of him from the other side. His message for this trip: expect a tougher strategy in confronting North Korea's nuclear threat, and that includes military actions.
All the options are on the table.
Using preemptive force has always been an option for the U.S. government, but never has any previous administration said so bluntly out loud.
Let me be very clear. The policy of strategic patience has ended.
President Trump backing up his Secretary of State on Twitter. North Korea has been playing the United States, and China has done little to help. Beijing remains angry over an ongoing deployment of U.S. anti-missile defense systems to Seoul. Its frustration evident through a series of economic retaliations on South Korean companies.
We believe these actions are unnecessary, and we believe they're troubling. We also believe it is not the way for a regional power to help resolve what is a serious threat to everyone.
Tillerson heads to Beijing early Saturday with much to resolve himself. Another big test for America's new top diplomat. Ju Hee-cho, ABC News, Seoul, South Korea.
Now to Tallahassee, where a bill is being filed to increase the punishment for people carrying or using weapons at Florida schools. Under the measure, anyone wielding a gun or a knife within 1,000 feet of a school property could be charged with a second-degree felony. It is unlikely to gain traction in the NRA-friendly Republican legislature, but the bill's sponsor says it is important to get people thinking about the issue.
Incrementally is the way things happen here, and so maybe it doesn't get to everywhere we want it to go this year, but we'll start that conversation and move things forward as we can.
Sarasota State Senator Greg Stubbe is sponsoring a bill that does just the opposite. It allows concealed carry on school properties. A Republican senator on the Judiciary Committee has vowed to block Stubbe's measures. Florida's economy is continuing to grow. According to state economists, preliminary forecasts predict Florida's budget would grow by as much as 4.5% by June. If the estimate holds, legislators could have an additional $180 million for their annual budget, although House Republicans say they plan to cut $1.4 billion in spending this year. Florida is dropping all charges against an attorney accused of leading a gambling ring at the time the scandal led to the resignation of the lieutenant governor. An appeals court is reversing the conviction of Jacksonville attorney Kelly Mathis. He was convicted in 2013 of 103 counts related to running a $300 million gambling racket and sentenced to 6 years in prison. During the scandal, Lieutenant Governor Jennifer Carroll resigned her office. She was the first African American to hold the position in Florida. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.